Oh. Ta-da! When you take the lens cap off, the camera shows the picture. Hey, welcome back to my vlogs and videos channel, Grace Notes. I'm Grace. These are my notes. Well, I am back for another day of great fun. If you watched my last video, you know that I've been creating a track for a song that I wrote a while ago, which I still don't know when I wrote it. I should look. My little notebook that I wrote this in. Glasses. I have notebooks full of songs. I've written well over 200 songs. Oh, there it is. February 23rd, 2001. That's when this song was written. I think the copyright date might have been 2005 because I think that's when Kevin Pauls recorded it. So this song is 21 years old. Like I said in the last video, this song and another one that I think was written in the same year are the only two of my songs that have ever been recorded commercially. I'm planning to pursue my music a little more publicly. I don't know if so much commercially, because like I say, I want a band, I want to start a band, and I want to maybe do some stuff with my music, but where that goes, I don't know. I've never wanted to sign a record deal contract. The record company owns you because they pay for everything. They pay the studio time, they pay all the technicians, they pay all of the expenses for traveling, they pay all your hotel expenses, they pay for your image, they pay for everything, but then they own you and they create you. It's like taking out a ginormous bank loan and you owe it. And then of course, taxes, because you don't earn that kind of money and not pay taxes. On paper you're making a lot of money, but you don't actually have a lot of money. Most of it is already pre-invested, so your tax bracket goes, but your bank account is still, My music's always been more about ministry than career anyways. I don't know what's gonna happen because God is my manager and I don't know what he's gonna do. I have kind of felt that now is the time for my music to do something. I didn't really, feel a direction to take it, but I'm starting to feel more of a pull toward that and have been for the last few years. And it's just sort of been coming together in my mind and in my heart. So part of doing this right now is to see what God's gonna do with it. You can have a myriad of talents and a myriad of tools in front of you, but if you don't use them, then nothing happens. God's not going to just poof and make something be that you haven't put any effort and soul into. But I'm kind of just throwing it out there to God and saying, well, here it is. I don't know what you want to do with this, but this is my effort. We'll see if it's a Cain or Abel offering, if it's acceptable or not acceptable, or if God just says, do it again. Because he's done that to me too. I need some tea. I'm gonna get some. Secret to a good cup of tea. Boiling water directly over the tea bag. That's the secret. Got my cup of tea. That's super good. It's super hot. So here's what I got so far. I'll show you here on this guy. That's all I've got so far. Doesn't seem like very much for a whole day's work. Each one of these is a different loop. But first I have to identify the note that I need in each one of these loops, and then I have to place them. And that is time consuming. Very tedious work. Time consuming. But here's what it sounds like. keyboard is not what it's supposed to do. So let's see if I can figure out how to fix it. See? Somebody cut somebody else off here. So let's see if that fixed the problem. I'm just isolating the bass here. Yep. And that's the process. You can see the names at the top here. This is this bass loop. Here we got the black tie bass. Here we have the jet set bass. There's the future state bass. This is what I'm talking about. All these little pieces are forming the bass track now. How this song is actually put together, I always start out with drums. So all of these tracks are drums. There's no drums till the second verse, so all of this is blank in the drum tracks. Let's see, this is where the instrumentation starts, and I'll show that to you in a second. This is how you make these. You stack these loops, right? See where you see this bass here? I put a fill in. And then this is the instrumentation. The guitar. I started with this sort of acoustic sounding guitar. Then I added this one to back this one up. This one's a little more acoustic. This one's got a bit more of an electric effect on it. And then there's this one underneath it that's just kind of a rhythm guitar. Put them all together, and that's what they sound like. These are not loops from GarageBand. All of these are loops that I created on my keyboard. So this one right here, for example, you see where this is cut here? This is a loop that I created because this repeats over and over again. So where you see cuts here, it's just where I messed up and had to play it again. But this is not a loop. This is actually what I free played on my keyboard. And that's just a guitar sound that's on my keyboard, Allen's Run guitar. That's actually on my Korg. So this is the amp that I applied to my natural keyboard sound. So you might be thinking, why would I not make my life easy and just find a bass sound on my keyboard, which does have pretty good bass sounds? My keyboard, well, here I'll show you. See, eventually I thought, this room here, this little storage area, would be a pretty cool studio space. But you hear that droning humming? Yeah, that's not good for studio space. But right here is where my keyboard is currently living. My Korg 01W. This keyboard was created in 1990. He's over a quarter of a century old. He's like, what, 32 years old. The Korg 01W was kind of a breakthrough model in sampling technology. That's what all of the instruments are. There's a lot of electronic keyboard synthesized sounds on it, but there are also these more authentic instrument sounds like drums, bass, guitars. The piano sounds and behaves like a piano because it was actually sampled from a piano. The guitars on my keyboard sound like guitars because they were sampled from an actual guitar. And the same with the bass. But I've learned how to kind of sort of mimic a guitar with the pitch bending and how a guitar sounds when it's played. My guitar playing on a keyboard is very limited. Maybe not the most accomplished guitarist, but it sounds like a guitar. But a bass guitar is just a different animal. It's a very difficult thing to recreate on a keyboard. It needs those little human nuances. I can pitch bend on my keyboard, but I can't recreate that string sound that an authentic bass makes when it's played. Like, listen to this here, I'll show you. You cannot do that on a keyboard. Bass is something that I really just can't make that compromise. I either have to have an actual bass player playing this, or I have to painstakingly create it like this. It's a lot. It's a labor of love, but I love enough to labor. This is what 2 hours of work has managed to produce. I'd like to get the next section done today, but we'll see. Issues with the notes confusing themselves and thinking that there's something that they're not. So I'm just gonna see. Thing where it's kind of taking the loop and making it what it thinks it should be instead of what I want it to be. The song is in D. So it's taking the note that's supposed to be a B because the chord's a B minor. But it's kind of like predictive texting. It wants to make it what it thinks it should be. Even though that is the exact same loop that I copied and pasted. Why? So here's what it's supposed to do. B, A, G. You're supposed to go B, but see, it turns it into a D. Somehow I have to figure out how to change its mind, because that's the wrong note. Yeah, so the battle rages on. Sometimes it's working and sometimes it's not. Might just be that I have so many loops stacked, even though they're muted, that it's just confusing the program. But I'm done for now. My ears are tired, my brain is tired. I'm not mad at how it's coming together. When the notes are playing properly, they sound okay. Figuring out the issue of why it is predictably changing the note to a note that I don't want it to be. Yeah, technical glitches. But I'm out for now. I love you all. Take care of each other. God bless you. Mwah. What is up with you? Garage band.